And you had that third failure in a row. Did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
When something is important enough, you do it, even if the odds are not in your favor. Elon Musk isn't just an entrepreneur. He's a mind that redefines what's possible. While most people dream about the future, he's out there building it. But behind his success lies something deeper, a way of thinking that challenges everything we know about limits, fear, and failure.
But I think people can choose to be not ordinary. You know, they can choose to not necessarily conform to the conventions that were taught to them by their parents. So yes, I think it's possible for ordinary people to choose to be extraordinary.
What to tell young people? I think it's always good when thinking about something that you're afraid of. When thinking about fear, look fear straight in the eye, and it will disappear. The nature of fear is that people don't look at it.
Yeah.
Look at it directly, and it will be gone.
What is the one thing that has surprised you about your life?
Oh, one thing. Wow. Well, I'm surprised by the whole thing, honestly. I certainly didn't expect to be for any of these things to happen, honestly. Yeah. I just knew I knew I wanted to be involved in technology, and in fact, the only reason I started a company back in '95, an internet company, was because I couldn't get it. There were only a few internet companies, and I couldn't get a job at any of them. So I tried to get a job at Netscape, and sent my resume in and tried hanging out in the lobby, but I was too shy to talk to anyone. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have to start a company because I can't get a job anywhere. So.
Thank you.
Really liking what you do, whatever area that you get into. Given that, you know, even if you're the best, there's always a chance of failure. So I think it's important that you really like whatever you're doing. If you don't like it, life is too short. You know, I'd say, and also if you like what you're doing, you think about it even when you're not working. I mean, it's something that your mind is drawn to, and if you don't like it, you just really can't make it work, I think.
If you could choose one attribute, just one attribute, that'd be critical for our future officers to have to be successful, what would it be? Curiosity. As long as you're not a cat. But curiosity. Try to read as much as possible, learn as much as possible, and in many different fields. And apply critical thinking to anything that you're told.
How did you get the expertise to be the chief technology officer of a rocket ship company?
Well, I do have a physics background. That's helpful as a foundation. And then I read a lot of books and talked to a lot of smart people.
You're self-taught?
Yeah. Well, self-taught, yes, meaning I don't have an aerospace degree.
So how did you go about acquiring the knowledge?
Well, like I said, I read a lot of books, talked to a lot of people, and have a great team.
Well, I think it's really a mindset. You have to decide we're going to try to do things differently. Well, provided that they're better. You shouldn't do things differently just because they're different. They need to be different and better. But I think you just have to sort of decide. Let's think beyond the normal stuff and have an environment where that sort of thinking is encouraged and rewarded, and where it's okay to fail as well. Because when you try new things, you try this idea, that idea, well, a large number of them are not going to work. And that has to be okay. If every time somebody comes up with an idea that has to be successful, you're not going to get people coming up with ideas.
3 pieces. I'm an entrepreneur, so you can share them with me.
Okay.
How would you advise me?
Well, first of all, I really need to give some thought to, like, how can I provide advice that would be most helpful? And I'm not sure I've given enough thought to that to give you the best possible answer. But I think certainly being focused on something that you're confident will have high value to someone else, and just being really rigorous in making that assessment, because people tend to, a natural human tendency is wishful thinking. So a challenge for entrepreneurs is to say, well, what's the difference between really believing in your ideals and sticking to them versus pursuing some unrealistic dream that doesn't actually have merit? And that is a really difficult thing to tell you. Can you tell the difference between those two things?
Right.
You know? So you need to be sort of very rigorous in your self-analysis. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
Gosh,
And then
a lot of work.
all those things improve the odds of success.
Okay.
I mean, if other people are putting in 40-hour work weeks and you're putting in 100-hour work weeks, then even if you're doing the same thing, you know that in 1 year you will achieve what they achieve. You will achieve in 4 months what it takes them a year to achieve.
What would you tell to, the Elon who's never had to do that yet?
I generally think to try to be as useful as possible. It may sound trite, but it's so hard to be useful, especially to be useful to a lot of people. Where you say the area under the curve of total utility is like how useful have you been to your fellow human beings times how many people. It's almost like the physics definition of true work. It's incredibly difficult to do that. And I think if you aspire to do true work, your probability of success is much higher. Don't aspire to glory, aspire to work. Or whether you're CEO or any role in a startup, you do whatever it takes to succeed. And just always be smashing your ego. Like internalize responsibility.
There are a lot of negative things in the world. There's a lot of terrible things that are happening all over the world, all the time. There are lots of problems that need to get solved. There's lots of things that are miserable and kind of get you down. But life cannot just be about solving one miserable problem after another. That can't be the only thing. There need to be things that inspire you, that make you glad to wake up in the morning and be part of humanity. Be out there among the stars, expand the scope and scale of human consciousness. I find that incredibly exciting. That makes me glad to be alive. I hope you feel the same way.
Stickers in their cars saying, "I bought this before we knew Elon was crazy."
And there are also people who are buying it because Elon's crazy, or however they may view it.
Do your tweets hurt the company? Are there Tesla owners who say, I don't agree with his political position and I know it because he shares so much of it? Or are there advertisers on Twitter that Linda Yaccarino will come and say, you got to stop, man, or, I can't get these ads because of some of the things you tweet?
I'm reminded of there's a scene in The Princess Bride. Great movie. Where he confronts the person who killed his father. And he says, offer me money. Offer me power. I don't care.
So you just don't care. You want to share what you have to say.
I'll say what I want to say, and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Okay.
And so where do you draw the line between recklessness and being overly cautious? So I think I do have this sort of very simple first principles algorithm that I think could be quite helpful. And I sort of say it as a mantra to myself because I've made this mistake so many times. So the first element is for any given thing, make the requirements less dumb. Or say military procurement, it goes wrong right at the outset with excess requirements. So you'll get sort of this giant document of requirements that actually should be like one page. Because if you don't do that as the first step, then you can get the right answer but to the wrong question. If the question's wrong, it doesn't matter. So then the step 2 is delete the part or process step. Delete. And if you're not putting in, if you're not adding back 10% of what you deleted, you haven't deleted enough. And then only the third step is to optimize the thing. And if I say, like, what's one of the mistakes that I see smart people making all the time, especially smart engineers, is optimizing a thing that should not exist.
If you're creating a company or if you're joining a company, the most important thing is to attract great people. So either join a group that's amazing that you really respect, or if you're building a company, you've got to gather great people. I mean, all a company is a group of people that have gathered together to create a product or service. And so depending upon how talented and hardworking that group is, and the degree to which they are focused cohesively in a good direction, that will determine the success of the company. So do everything you can to gather great people if you're creating a company.
Is it possible? Can you build this innovative intuition in a person?
Well, I think it is possible to learn to be innovative. You know, a lot of times, for any given thing, you have to say, did you try? This may sound obvious, but actually try. Like if somebody might wonder, well, can I be innovative? Well, have you tried? Just try thinking of interesting ideas. I mean, I do find a good source of innovation is if you read about a whole bunch of fields, you can cross-fertilize ideas from one field into another.
Entrepreneur will come up with something which is only slightly better, and it can't just be slightly better. It's got to be a lot better. Number 3, I'd say, is constantly seek criticism. A well thought out critique of whatever you're doing is as valuable as gold. And you should seek that from everyone you can, but particularly your friends. Usually your friends know what's wrong, but they don't want to tell you because they don't want to hurt you. It doesn't mean your friends are right, but very often they are right. And you at least want to listen very carefully to what they say. And to everyone, if you're looking for, basically, you should take the approach that you're wrong. You know, that you, the entrepreneur, are wrong. Your goal is to be less wrong.
Maybe Elon Musk's true legacy isn't his companies, but the way he teaches us to think bigger. He reminds us that success isn't about being the smartest. It's about being the one who doesn't stop, to question everything, to take risks, to keep going when no one else believes in you. The future doesn't belong to dreamers. It belongs to those who build their dreams